As an RBC or a BT, you may or may not know what your current role is or how to function in your current role. And this is a video that kind of basically states it and goes over it. So, at the beginning of your session, you're going to make sure that you are instituting pairing immediately. Pairing is so important, and sometimes pairing with your client the first 2 weeks, figuring out what they like, what they want to do, is it's completely mandatory in order to have like a successful overall session and a functional session at that. And the RBT must, you as an RBT or BT, you must engage with your clients. So watching them play isn't necessarily going to teach them or going to help you to get to know them better. And it's okay to allow that client to lead, just so that you can figure out what it is they're interested in, or what you could use to get them to be interested in. You know what I mean? Like, what can you generalize? Like, if your client likes Legos, your kid may like blocks. Or if your kid likes to read books with a lot of different colors, your kiddo might like painting or stuff like that. Like, you want to introduce things to your kid as well. Let's see if, and you also want to make sure that you're alternating your activities with your kiddos, because you do not want your kiddo to become satiated with whatever that activity is. So you want to make sure that you're not giving too much access, but you are allowing them to get introduced to different things. It's just like transition from one area to the next. Alternating activities and giving short access to activities will help to promote transitions and cause deprivation, which will enhance motivation and work to the fundamental status of ABA. The fundamental status of ABA is basically like the ABC model: antecedent, behavioral, conclusive. You will also want to have precursor strategies antecedent strategies put into place so that you can institute the pre-MAC principle of first then, before you transition to the next activity. Just so that when you're running those task acquisitions, you can get your kiddo used to first work, then play. First work, then dinosaurs. And this will allow for a parent to take his rightful place and to be functional in this functional environment. You want to make sure that you are using purpose assessments to figure out what the client wants and what the client wants to work for. Using your first in statements, according to response. You want to make sure that you are instituting those error corrections. You want to make sure that when you are with your clients that you are constantly engaging with them, because if you are not constantly engaging with your kiddo, it will make it difficult when it's time for you to transition. It will make it difficult when you go in and try to make a demand. You might get some resistance, just because now that kid has been alone for this is a substantial amount of time, and now they are in their own world, and you come back over there and you try to do something after being away from them for 20 minutes and they are not having it. Of course, it's okay for them to do activities by themselves, but you want to make sure that it's like functional and like it's still like, okay, we're doing this for this amount of time to get this activity done, and then we're going to move over to the next thing or whatever is in that kiddo's BSP or in a task acquisition list or whatever. And you want to make sure that when you're engaging with your kiddo, like you're having conversations with them, like normal conversations, and And a good way to do that is just to observe what they're doing specifically. Talk about what they're doing. If they look at something, talk about what they're looking at. Be aware of proximity and range. And you want to slowly, gradually um, get in there with your client, because you don't want to just throw yourself on them, but you kind of want to introduce yourself slowly and allow your client to gravitate towards you. And while they're gravitating towards you, you gravitate towards them. And it'll kind of help it to be a one work in harmony, balance session. Parallel play is good when you're working with your kiddo. Introducing new activities, as we mentioned before. Setting up the environment prior to session, or setting up the environment prior to transition, or wherever you are, working or leaving, making sure that you have your kiddo to clean up. That's also a way to gain instructional control, having them clean up. You can help them, have them demand for help. Instituting that pre-bank principle first, then to promote transitions. And just doing like little things to strengthen your instructional control throughout. If you leave the bathroom, ask them to turn the light off. Like, turn the light off, turn water off, throw this away. Those are all different ways to build instructional control throughout the session, so that when those kiddos are having behaviors, they are able to listen to you when you're asking them to put their feet down, to show you a calm body, to show you nice hands, to show you quiet mouth, those things like that.